What's going on, guys? Money Making Joey back here doing another video. Do me a favor, if this is your very first time seeing me on YouTube, do definitely go ahead and get subscribed to the channel. This is a video that's specifically dedicated to storage wars. Now, I am gonna try in this video to give you guys just a little bit of insight into the business, because if you're watching this video, you might actually be someone that you're watching A&E or somewhere on demand, and you've seen this show Storage Wars. You're very interested in it. Now, they show you a lot of content when it comes to them going out and buying the storage units, the full process. And don't get me wrong, it's a very great show. It's interesting to watch, but some of you out there might physically be looking for someone who actually does this, and you guys can get some insight into the business, and that's basically what I am. So if you guys go ahead and you get subscribed to the channel, you'll be able to see the same kind of footage that they have up there with them buying the units. I have that on my channel, and then I do make helpful videos just like this one, kind of giving you guys some insight of the business. Now, and I was just talking to someone about this yesterday. They asked me, do you always find these great items that you have to get inspected and things like that? Because when they watch this show, one thing that happens in every single episode is, no matter what, each one of the people on that show, when they go inside of a unit, they find this crazy item. Sometimes they don't even know what it is, and they have to go specifically to someone to get it, appraised and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. For someone like myself, now I have been in the business the last year and a half, which is not really a long time, but in that year and a half, it really gave me the ability to learn the business. I have been in hundreds of units over that year and a half, getting inventory for the store, getting inventory for the flea market, getting inventory for eBay and Amazon and things like that. So typically, and I'm gonna be honest, in my year and a half, there might have been 2 items where it's like, okay, you know what, let me take this to someone where they may know way better than me. That way I get it appraised right. It really does not happen that often. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The show, I believe, kind of puts a little bit of a spin on it, and I believe that's really the thrill factor and wow factor of it, because I am not sure as this is a fact, but what I've actually heard is that these items are actually planted inside of those units, so it gives the show just a tad bit more thrill. But one thing that I will say for certain is that one thing that does actually happen often is, and this is something for me where it's like, you go into a unit and it could be a crappy unit, it could look like garbage, but there's always something within that unit that does have some kind of a wow factor in it. Like if you take a look at one of the previous videos on my channel, there was a Roberto Clemente pin that I was actually just getting ready to throw out. It was in my garbage pile, but I'm going back through and I'm looking through this garbage pile, and I look at this pin, and I just so happen to do some research on it, and I find out that this pin is actually like a collector's item, and it's worth like $500. So I was able to luckily dig that thing out just in the nick of time, get it listed on eBay and sold off in the matter of just a couple days for a couple $100. So now you always kind of have that element going on there. You never know when you're actually going to go into a unit and there are going to be, designer items in there, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, things like that. Now, one thing that I want to point out, what goes on in that show is actually the old school model of buying storage auction units. Like typically today, it's very rare to come across live auctions. For the most part, the industry is all online right now. Like I have videos on my channel that fully explain how you can find these. There's a few different websites, but there's hundreds, if not thousands, of auctions that go on every single week, every single day, and it's done online. So you don't have this huddle of people standing around there live. That ended actual years ago. Now, of course, for the show's purposes, they're gonna physically still do it how they did it years ago, because I believe this show started well over 10 years ago, probably. I'm not sure of the actual year. Now, as far as the business goes, one thing that I do want to point out, and I'm sure some of you are wondering about it, is when it actually comes to the money, is it actually a profitable business to be in? One thing that I will say, you guys have seen like Dave Hessner and those people, they're big ball and they're saying that they're making a lot of money. One thing I will say is that this is a very lucrative business to actually be in. Like, imagine you're getting inventory, pennies on the dollar. Let's say pennies. Like, I'll give you guys an example. And I have a video on my channel where I fully explained how I spent $1,000 buying storage units and easily made back 10 times that, pulled out around $10,000 worth of inventory that I was to go on and sell online via eBay, Mercari, and then, get a nice chunk of that stuff off via the store and the flea market as well. So now, when you consider a business that you have the potential to spend $1,000 to make back $10,000, that's a big business. Now, one thing that I will say is that now you're getting the inventory for so cheap, but one thing is the labor. The labor and the amount of time that it takes to go through all of this stuff, put it through the sales channels, is a lot. One thing inside of my business I will say is that our main cost is labor, help, employees, things like that. The amount that we spend on actual inventory is very minuscule. So it's a very profitable business in business terms. Doing 30% a year is not unheard of. When you have companies like Polo, for example, they make 8% profit per year. So to come into a business that's making 25, 30%, oh my goodness, it's actually great. But in all of the years that this show, Storage Wars, has been on, I am actually shocked that they haven't done like a behind the scenes kind of thing. And it's actually, I'm going to take a sip of my water here, but it's actually something that I wish they would do, due to the fact that one thing that I definitely want to point out to you guys is the behind the scenes of the business is a whole nother TV show within itself. And speaking of that, they could probably make a great spin-off of Storage Wars just on the behind the scenes. If someone wants to take that idea out there at A&E, if you're watching, listen, it would be its own show alone, just due to the fact of now, this show just shows the process of getting the storage unit. They fully don't show the process of selling all of this inventory, because now I know like the guy Jared and his wife, they had their own store back in the day. Not sure what's going on with that now. A few of the other guys had a show. I know that there's one of the guys, he's utilizing Whatnot, doing some auctions on there. But like I said, you could even go to the flea market. Just the whole business side of things, like I said, is another show within itself. I am probably going to make a part 2 to this video, so do definitely get down in the comments. Let me know if there's any questions you have. I'm pretty big on always responding to the comments, typically within the same day, and I'll probably, based off your comments, make a part 2 if there's anything specifically you guys are interested in learning about the back end of the business, and we'll make a part 2 for that one. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys have found value from it. Get subscribed, of course, to the channel. If this is your first time seeing me, Money Making Joey, I'm out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.